and thank you for joining us again here on Video Game Replay. My name is Larry IR Bunky. Joining me is my co-host Aidan.
What's up, guys? Aidan in the building. Larry, what we got going today?
Well, our boy CJ still got his personal things going on. He's still all right. He's making it. Just got some shit happening. So we're coming at you again with another extra. Um, this week we're going to cover Final Fight for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, but we'll cover all that in just a bit. Aidan, it is No Shave November. So you're supporting it well, and somehow I've gotten this far in it. It's cold. It's terrible. We've got our first real freeze winter hitting everybody this time of year, and it's just been a little rough. But how are you doing, man? How you been?
I've been doing pretty good. I don't know if the hair counts. I got my ears lowered, shaved that up a little bit, so I don't know if that counts. I guess she did use some clippers to shave my head, but the ear's still going strong. Yeah, we did get that little frost. I realized, or actually, we got about an inch of snow. I did realize that that long hair it keeps you warmer than you think. Came out that barber's place. Pretty chilly. But yeah, not a lot going on. Shivering, freezing in the house. Other than that, not too much.
It's rough because it is that time of year where there's not a whole lot else to get into. But I mean, like I say, I know it's video game time. I know I've been playing a little bit of Minecraft and trying to pick up some other games. I know prior I mentioned I was doing some DOS games, and I still have that loading up in the chute. Just haven't had a lot of time for editing. Can't play if I'm going to edit, and I want to play right now instead of edit. So we'll see how those go. But I know you told me you've been playing a new game. What have you been into? What's your game of the moment?
I've been playing Arc Raiders. It's a new game. I think it came out a couple of weeks ago. It's about $40. I kind of splurged on it, but I really wanted to play it. I had a couple of friends that had it. It's pretty much the premise. You got these advanced robots with guns and lasers and fire shit on the surface of the earth that kind of force humans underground because they're so strong. They're pretty much just killing everything. So humans are now underground, and they send people above ground called raiders to kind of collect gear, survival stuff, some blueprints, some different weapons to fight the Ark. Ark is what they call the robots that has taken over the surface. And
Okay.
as raiders, you fight PVE, so you fight these robots and you fight other raiders that are up there kind of trying to get your shit. So it's kind of kill or be killed if you're on the surface. And at the very end, you got to extract uh to the elevator and go back down to I think it's called Servania or Sylvania is like the underground place. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's an extraction shooter. It's kind of to me, it's a if you guys know, it's a mix of a game called Escape from Tarkov and Helldivers. It has a little PvE, little
Okay.
PvP. It's an extraction shooter, but that's pretty much been my last 3 days. I think I was averaging like 7 hours a day on it with my work
Damn.
being shut down, doing nothing else but
Okay.
playing some Arc Raiders. So it's pretty much been my
Well,
life.
I know you mentioned it to me right before we got started here, and I glanced over at it, and that it looks intense. I mean, like I say, with the 3D graphics going on for fighting these giant ass robots and things going on there, that I don't know if an old man like me could handle such shit. I do well to just stay in the world of Contra and stuff. So
Yeah,
but
it's a lot for sure. And it's pretty PC intensive. If I don't even have that good of a PC, but I can run it with low graphics on like around 100 FPS pretty consistently, but high graphics, man. I had about 60 FPS consistently and it's a little rough at times for sure because it uses I think Unreal Engine 5. It's one of those games where it's kind of like
yeah,
hyper realistic. So, I understand that's kind of where the future of gaming is headed. That kind of realistic Unreal Engine 5, a lot of GPU, CPU intensive stuff, but I've been having a blast with it so far.
well, hey, that's always good to have something to get into and get into play. Like I say, I'm outside of the ones I've told myself I want to get through. Like I say, the DOS games I mentioned, I'm getting into. The Minecraft was really just I started over the weekend with my daughter. Actually, about a week or two ago, we started a new world. We do this about every other month, and we'll get through about a month of it, and it just kind of fades away. Um, there's been a lot. I've strangely because I looked up something. It's been in my feed. They apparently have jacked up Bedrock to a point where people are really pissed off about it. That's the version we play at the house. We play it online or whatever. Then yeah, we use Java. But I guess the biggest thing is just where they decided to plug in all this buy me stuff. Um, I'm trying to think what the shop's called, but basically where you opened up Minecraft, you had play now settings, enter realm. I think it's
Mm,
now play now, buy something, or enter the realms, and the settings have been shoved off to the side. So I don't know. I don't spend on it. I'm happy to be vanilla in my Minecraft world, so it gets me through it. But
same here.
outside of that, though, that's pretty much about the only gaming I really had. But behind the scenes, I think it's only been what 4 days, 5 days since we've talked to each other last. So
I think so. So not a ton of time to play a bunch of different games, but still got my gaming fix in. That's for sure.
no, it's that time of year. Like I say, my couple things I need to get done, wind down, and yeah, getting through the holidays, and yeah, my ass will be doing nothing but gaming. So this week we are going to talk about Final Fight for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I've really got to work on getting audio buttons up in here. Um, Final Fight is originally released in the arcade November of 1989. This is important. SNES, it was released in 1991, so 2 years later it came out. Uh, Developed by Capcom, published by Capcom, and I'm going to call it a single player beat 'em up. I call it a single player beat 'em up because the Super Nintendo version is one player only. But the stories are exact same from the arcade port to the Super Nintendo port. You are for a former wrestler, current mayor of Metro City, Mike Hager, and your daughter Jessica has been kidnapped. You recruit your daughter's boyfriend Cody and his formerly gay friend Guy to take back the streets and rescue your daughter from the Mad Gear Gang and restore peace of your beloved city. And I know I called Guy gay, and I'll explain that in just a second. One of the most influential arcade games of all time gets a near perfect port for the SNES only 2 years after its initial release. But it didn't get through this without any scars. Small things that happened in this. In the SNES version, there's only 2 to 3 enemies that attack you at a time. In the arcade, there's 8 or 9 guys coming at you. Two of the bosses, actually, I think the very first two, the guy whose name was Damned, the other guy's name was Sodom. They renamed them to Thrasher and Katana. I guess just to be safe from parents or something. I don't know. All the alcohol references have been removed. There's a bonus stage where you beat the hell out of a car. In the arcade, the guy comes out and he cries, "Oh my God!" But in the SNES version, he says, "Oh my car!" And the thing is, truthfully, they sound exactly the same. So you really don't know. It's just, it's that whole subjective influence. But to touch real quick on this whole calling Guy gay, in Japan, that was his name. His name was Gay. So you had Mike Hagar, Cody, and Gay. Don't know why, but they brought it over here. It's like, yeah, no, we're gonna call him Guy, and then they cut him out of the Super Nintendo version. So I imagine, if nothing else, Aidan probably is a little like, who the fuck is this gay guy, gay? What is this all about? So with that, Aidan, here's pretty much your backstory on a lot of it. There's a couple other things in there, but what's your first thoughts of this game?
First thoughts of the game. Obviously it's a beat 'em up. I'm not the hugest beat 'em up guy, but this one it wasn't too bad at all. Uh, a little one-dimensional personally, but hey, I mean, beat guys up. The combos felt satisfying for sure. The premise was cool. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll touch on it more, but not a ton to. My initial thoughts was not very deep. Did not have a ton of initial thoughts, but it's kind of what I got going so far.
Well, that's fair. Like I say, I'll admit off the top, this puddle's very shallow, but again, like I said earlier, this could be very nostalgia heavy, and that's where I want to share some of it. This was a very big arcade game. Any place that had a video game, this is the game they wanted in it. And I think this comes out even before Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, obviously. So this was like the one. It looked good. The sprites are huge. And you and a buddy could get in here and go beat the hell out of a bunch of people to go save this girl, which, again, another censorship issue. In the arcade version, she's basically there in her bra. In the SNES, they've covered her up with a strapless dress. I don't know. I guess that probably helped a couple quarters get dropped in there. I'm sure it did, probably. Um, but I do recall walking the places you can just hear Mike Hagar, as he sit around, beating up guys, and it was just one of those ones that called out to you in the arcade. So when it came home to the SNES, yeah, I wanted. I remember this was one of those, like say, renting it, getting my hands on it, playing it, and being disappointed because it was one player. And immediately though, that's my initial thought. Like say, you wanted to play with a friend. Most beat 'em ups, you want to play with your friends because it's just better. It's just better to what's better to get together with a buddy, couple buddies, and beat the hell out of a bunch of other people. I mean, peace, love, and whipping somebody's ass. I think it's just the best way to put that. So, um, Aiden, I guess I'll start with this idea. What do you think of the graphics and the sounds? How did those go for you as this port went?
Sounds wasn't horrible. Music wise, I didn't stand out a ton. Something annoying though is I feel like instantly beat a stage, and then before I even get a chance to move in the right direction, you'd have that big finger pointing, go this way, and that big sound. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
I understand the point of the game. I mean, it's a beat 'em up. It's not like, I mean, give me a second here. But other than that, I mean, the punches sounded good. I like the sound of like the combos. Like you said, the guy screaming. It wasn't bad. Sound wise, it wasn't horrible. Nothing stood out to me too much. Graphically, I could tell what everything was. I think this is a pretty big step below than Turtles in Time. Personally, the other beat 'em up we played previously, a couple episodes before this. If you haven't watched that, check it out. I feel like it's a step below that, but not bad whatsoever. I'm not trashing on it, but I don't know. Sound and graphically, I wasn't blown away by it, but also it wasn't offensive whatsoever.
okay. Well, I'm going to first come back at you at this whole. You thought the graphics were better for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4?
Hundred
I
percent.
mean,
I think
okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 2 was one of the better, graphically, one of the better games that we've played so far. I feel like.
I might have my nostalgia blinders on and looking through those rose tinted glasses, but I mean, I thought it looked great. I mean, Mike Hagger is just a big buff dude. I mean, which is itself is just totally ludicrous. Like, what the hell's this wrestler who doesn't wear a shirt down the street with a damn pair of overalls as the mayor of Metro City down here beating the hell out of guys with his hands?
Why is he himself
Um,
going to going to rescue her? Just RKOing
yeah, I mean,
everybody in sight.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, but I thought it was really intriguing that all the characters looked very good. They stood out. They didn't even really abuse the whole the color swap on the different characters. I mean, it happens. You've got um, palettes. I think is the right word. Palette swaps on different characters where you'll have the same guy looks like that.
Hmm.
Because I think that. I guess that would be my one argument against the Turtles in Time, because basically there you fought nothing but foot soldiers, so it was the same guy with different colors, maybe a different weapon.
Mm.
But this one here, you had a whole slew of different characters. Ones that I do want to point out, which again I know you probably played the SNES version. There's a guy, I want to say his name was Jack and Sid, punk rockers. You'll notice them because they stood out really kind of
Yeah,
weird.
I know what you're
White
talking about.
T-shirts. Punk. Okay. Did you know that actually in the arcade game, this is Roxy and Poison, two women who were, very scantily dressed because their shirts were much higher up. They're wearing short shorts. But America, when they brought this over to America, as the story goes, they were afraid of Capcom America weren't going to like this. Also, on the idea of we can't be beating up women. Um, Fair enough. They didn't want to make that a normalcy thing because, again, it's pretty cool to hell yeah and get together and beat the hell out of some guys, but now you can't throw some chicks in here. You can't do that stuff. Well, the way they justified it, Capcom, to when they brought it to America, was they called them basically transgenders, that they were dudes who wanted to be women. And it was just like this whole thing. And I guess that was the story of how these characters worked out in the arcade. They still look like women. They still, like I say, look scantily clad. But the story was they weren't women. They were transgenders who wanted to look like that. So they left that in the game. That's how they described it.
That's funny.
When the SNES got it, they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We're just going to, they're guys now.
It's a PR
Okay.
nightmare.
So they are straight up guys. Yeah, it's a really bad one. And it kind of still hangs over the whole game itself at this time. So I think that's kind of why it kind of died off and those kind of went away as much as it did. But um, back into the idea of the soundtrack. Uh, I recall the music. I know it's there, but again, this is from hours of playing it as a kid in the arcade, which the music does match it pretty well as towards coming towards the SNES. So the port, again, like I say, it's nearly perfect um, on the idea of coming from graphics over. Graphics a little bit probably up a notch. Better graphics card, I guess, would be the best way to put it in the arcade. Sound chip for the arcade, the SNES, I think it's the same thing. So um, one for one, no, but one for one and a half, sure. But so as we went through this, Aiden, like I said, I know you said you got into it a little bit. You didn't get too far, or didn't beat it. I'll admit, I didn't. I've never beaten this SNES version. But with what you were able to get, and what you were able to play, what was your least favorite part of this game?
I want to say my least favorite part was it was a little one-dimensional. I liked what the big buff guy. I ended up playing a run of kind of each of them. The big buff guy, is that the Mike Haggard?
Yeah,
I liked that his like jump sideways kick thing I liked. But there's only two buttons. I don't know if that was just because it's a port. The SNES port didn't like add anything else into it, which is fine, but I feel like there could have been more added different combos, like maybe like an up kick or something like that. I don't know. It's pretty much walking around just mashing one button, which that's not super uncommon for beat 'em ups, but I kind of wish there was a little more to it. You have I don't know if there's more later in the game, but the only like other kind of power up thing to make it unique was little knives on the ground where you kick them and they drop the knives and you could throw one knife at somebody.
hmm
I think
Um,
yeah.
did you with Mike Haggard? Did you grab anybody, pick anybody up?
Yeah, I did slaying people, but I mean that was the same button. I didn't know if there's a way to like kind of make that happen every
They they
time or
they did make this game as a two button deal. So even in the arcade, you had a basically a punch and a jump. So yeah, it was
Mhm.
very limited on its move set. But things like with Mike Hagar, you could jump and pile drive the guy, or yeah, put him pile drive. So you flip him over and you drop him on his head. If you grabbed hold of him, push one way, you give him a suplex. I don't think he did a different move if you pushed into him or up or down. So um, it was simple in that idea. So I get that.
But I can't hold that too much against it because it is an arcade port and it's like it's a one player beat 'em up. I guess it could have had a more wider range of move sets and abilities and kind of attacks. But it wasn't not a major gripe about this game. Uh I don't have a whole lot negative to say about it, but I'm kind of it's one of those situations where not a ton of like overwhelmingly like insane things, great things about this game, but also not a ton of things done wrong. Uh yeah, I want to say the limited moveset would probably be my biggest gripe with this game if I had to pick one.
That's fair, and I get that because even back into the NES, you had Double Dragon, which was a beat 'em up like this. It had the same flaw, which I'm going to come out as my first thing I really didn't like about this is it was a two-player game that basically was treated as a one-player game um, because for some reason they
True.
didn't know how to program it. They didn't want to program it. I don't know. Uh, so you didn't have that. But in Double Dragon, you had like almost a I don't say an RPG system, but like a leveling up system to where for every punch or kick you landed, you got 10, maybe 20 points. Once you hit like 1,000, I think, maybe 100, 500, I can't remember what the number is, you gained a new move. Back elbow, a drop kick, a jump kick, like all these things. And I think up to like 6 levels you could gain where you gain up all these new moves. So it kept it kind of fresh, kept you going. This one here, I think part of the idea was they wanted something simplistic, and it was more of the idea of we want beauty over top of being absurd, being overly complicated. It really was to a point just the classic beat 'em up. Hit the
Mhm.
button, jump, beat 'em up. You die, put another quarter in. So, but I can see where you're coming from on that. And I still think though it's the worst thing about this is the idea that it needed to be two-player, which strangely in the later versions, Final Fight 2 and 3, suddenly they can do that. So I just think it was poor programming aside from the idea of we want to get this out now.
Mm-hmm.
But what was your favorite part of this? What worked for you?
I want to say the combos were one of my favorite things. The combos always felt satisfying when you got your full punch 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 kick combo and they fly backwards. That was always a satisfying thing to do. It's kind of one of those situations where I don't have anything crazy standing out to me. Again, I didn't play super far into this game. Played about an hour's worth of gameplay, but I want to say my favorite thing about this game probably the combos. I'm gonna be completely honest. To me, this game it's one of those games where I kind of play mindlessly. I just run around. I mean, a lot of beat 'em ups is like that. Don't get me wrong, and I could just be not a huge fan of the genre. But yeah, my favorite thing is the combos and how it felt smooth. The attacks definitely felt smooth in this game, I will say. Like the punches and kicks and moves, and if you could kind of get in a groove, especially with Mike, where you could jump into some back kick someone, another one, and you pile drive them, and it knocks everyone back, and then you kick them. It's like smooth combos and smooth punches, which I guess is pretty essential for a beat 'em up.
I don't disagree. I think it's definitely something that's necessary. I myself, I'm kind of with you. Like I said, I do like the way it controlled. It feels good to beat them. Like it almost feels like, I don't want to say, like some games you play they feel heavy. Some games you play they don't feel like they respond well. They kind of slide everywhere. I think this, like say, you wanted to walk to your right, you walk to your right, you punched a guy. It felt like you hit him. It responded well, like you actually landed a hit. So, like I said, I definitely give it that feeling part there you got on it. I myself, like I say, I'll go to this. I have the arcade port of this available on the Capcom arcade that I had on my Switch. It's the same thing we played the was it Knights of the Round or whatever we played when we were together that one night. It's on that same game system or whatever the hell it is game. So I played it, and of course with that the ability to feed quarters into it, I was able to beat it and see where it went to at the end. So I at least know what it looks like from beginning to end of it. I guess the little gripe will be that for some reason this seems a hell of a lot harder because I played through this as many lives as it would give you, and as many continues. So I think uh, almost like 30 lives, which you can get if you use all the lives in the menu to turn it up. I still could. In this round, I couldn't get past Sodom or Katana. I did not hit the beat them up the cars. The enemies were too strong in this, so it kept me away from two of the things I really liked. One, I do like Sodom as a enemy. I think he's one of the best bosses in this. You're in a wrestling ring fighting a samurai wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, hell yeah. I mean, fuck, you can't go wrong with that. It just seems like something that's amazing. And then, of course, you go into the bonus level, which you said you did make it to and try, where you beat the hell out of that car. That's just somewhere I remember. I think there was even a commercial where they actually went into a Street Fighter. They did Street Fighter 2 as well. You beat up a guy's car and trash it. I think there was a commercial somewhere where they tried to do that to like a Nissan and like they couldn't beat it up or something. It's like, hey, what's going on? Why ain't this working? So I do recall that happening somewhere.
It was difficult there. I was definitely abusing my extra lives there. I just kept spamming the extra lives, but it did seem difficult. Like one thing that kind of annoyed me, some like little mini bosses, you kind of beat them and they'd have that moment of invincibility, where like no matter how much you beat them up, they wouldn't take damage for a little bit of time. That was kind of a frustrating thing to deal with in a beat 'em up because it doesn't really make sense. Like, why am I beating up, but he's taking literally zero? Why is he invincible right now when I'm kicking him on his ass? But it was pretty difficult because the enemy's health pool was pretty strong. I do wonder if that's one thing they did. They reduced the enemy size. I don't know if that was to help with like lag, but I wonder if they reduced the enemy size but increased the remaining enemy's health. I wonder if that's something they did. It could have been.
Well, maybe. I'm gonna point a little different because, like I say, I know earlier I mentioned in the arcade there'd be up to like almost 8 or 9 guys on the screen at one time fighting you individually. In the Super Nintendo, because of limitations of the available RAM, I think they cut it down to 2, maybe 3 at any given time. So there's never more than 3 enemies on the screen with you. I think instead of making their health more, I think just their ability to hit you. Because I found I was strangely dying a lot to the littlest guy on the screen who wasn't shouldn't have been the biggest problem. I'm fighting the big Ondor Jr., the big Wong Hong guy who was the big ball dude who would run and hit you.
Mm.
And out of nowhere, this little Jack guy would just punch me and ugh, and I die. It's like, what the hell? So I think that's where they balanced it at, and it didn't work well. But I knew there wouldn't be a whole lot in this, but like I say, it was something I think it was kind of important to get out there because it was a big first year game for the Super Nintendo. It wasn't big enough that we needed to draft it, but I'm glad we had the opportunity to play it. I wish CJ had the opportunity to play it because he'd probably bitch and carry on about it. But Aidan, what's your final thoughts here? What do you think?
Final thoughts of this game. It's an interesting beat 'em up. The story, I can get the appeal. It's a funny story. It's a single player beat 'em up. I do think it would benefit from being 2-player, playing with some friends. It'd definitely be more fun. A little bit one-dimensional, but also not offensive by any means. I don't have a ton of gripes with this game, but I also don't have a ton of great things to say about it. It didn't really bring me that much excitement. I want to say I played it for about an hour. I kind of just mindlessly played it. But I can see playing this in an arcade, this being badass for sure. As a kid, but as I get older, it's definitely a little one-dimensional, but also not anything too bad either. Would I recommend this? I probably wouldn't. Just because of the reasons I listed, it's a little one-dimensional. It's not a bad beat 'em up by any means, and I want to get off by saying I didn't. And Turtles in Time, people say that was one of the better beat 'em ups on the SNES. A lot of people say it's the best, and I didn't love that as much either. I'm just not the biggest beat 'em up guy, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. For those same exact reasons, I probably wouldn't play it again either, just because not a big beat 'em up guy. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I assume you a little nostalgia mixed in. You're a little bit more of a beat 'em up guy. You might have a little bit of a differing opinion here.
Somewhere I want to think I am, and I think it's just it's a I don't know if it's nostalgia one or just the reminiscence of the arcade where, like I say, you're in there and just mashing buttons, and it is mindless. It's a simple play style of just going in there, beating up stuff, go on to the next screen, keep going. Um, I I knew that this, like I said, wouldn't be top tier on what we wanted. I thought this had more important history to it because on the Super Nintendo there is three versions of this. And then later on, I think they attempt to go to 3D and actually slide a couple of these characters into a couple of the Capcom versus Marvel games and all these different ones like that. Um, so I thought it had some roots just to kind of get some video game history into this. But I definitely don't think that it's a great game either. It's a so-so game. Um, if you have an ability to play it somewhere, whether it be through the arcade collection, whether it be through other means, it's in your collection, you just never tried it, try it. Give it a shot. It's there. I wouldn't pursue it. I wouldn't go pay whatever the current price is for it to bring it into your SNES. If it's part of a lot, sure. But don't hunt it out. Really, if you want to play the best one, I'll recommend 3. And I think it's important to play this because the beat 'em up genre still exists today. They still make Turtles ones. I think can't think of the one for Sega is Streets of Rage. They made a new one of those a couple years ago. Final Fight died. It's gone. When they made it to a 3D version, it just sucked. It's gone. You'll never see it again. So this is about the only atmosphere where you'll ever get the opportunity to see and play this. So it's a good plot, good place to pick it up. Will I play it again? Maybe. But I hunt it down, like I said, more for nostalgia than I do more for the great game that it is. 3 is hard as hell. Like I said, I think I actually beat it with your dad many years ago. Like just one night we rented it. I had it. I was like, hey dude, do you want to play this with me? He said sure, and we hung out and stayed up until halfway through the night and somehow made it to the end of the damn game and it's like, yeah, okay, well, I'm going to bed now, and it was done and over with. So, um, outside of that, did you say if you'd play it again? Is that something you're coming back to, or?
I probably wouldn't, to be honest. You have a good point. Play it for the history. Uh, one of those classic franchises that unfortunately died out, as you said. But play for the history. Yeah, that'd probably be the only reason I'd come back to it. But it's probably not very likely, if I'm being honest, personally.
No, it is what it is. Like I say, it's just out there. So that's about where we're gonna leave it on that. But again, like I say, it's a little weird when we do it. The average gets a little messed up because there's only 2 of us instead of 3. But you want to give this thing a number, Aiden? You got a 1 to 10 for us?
Yeah, I'll give it a number. I'm thinking kind of middle of the road, not offensive. Like I said, not a lot of ups, not a ton of downs, not a ton of ups. I'm gonna give it a 5.5. That's where I'm at right now. 5.5.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. You're hitting it just right. I'm with you. I'm gonna go with 5.5 on that too, and feel like I'm actually even giving it nostalgia points, to go with it. So I'm glad to hear that you can see where it's coming from. It's
Yeah.
at, but it's a mediocre game that's right there in the middle. I do think it's pretty. I do think the soundtrack's not something you're ever going to remember, but it has its place somewhere. Capcom made a decent beat 'em up. This was their attempt to get into the market. They found better things, i.e., Street Fighter and Marvel franchises. So simple math. We put it at 5.5. I think that would call it just a good game in the scale. But I think that's all we really got. So let's wrap this thing up, Aiden. What do the folks need to do?
Guys, you need to like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that great stuff. You got a buddy that needs podcasting, needs something to listen to, send him our way. If you got a question, we're doing a question of the week. If you want to see that full version, check us out on the Spotify. You have everything full version, audio version. If you want to see our pretty faces, you're listening on Spotify. Check us out on the tube. But like I said, questions wise, if you got one to send us, you got an opinion on a question we've already stated, send us an email, vgrpod@gmail. Check us out on all the socials, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. Check us out. Next week, we're going to try to shoot for Donkey Kong Country. Is that what it is? Donkey Kong
Country.
Donkey Kong Country. We're going to try to shoot for it at CJ's game. He got a little personal stuff going with it. He said he'd expect to be back for it, but we'll see. If not, we'll be back with another extra. Haven't really decided yet, but that's pretty much all for this one, unless you got some more stuff to add.
I've got nothing else. Like I said, we do appreciate y'all listening. Don't forget to like us, share us, do all those good things. Give us that little finger bang on the internet, and until next time.
Yep. Peace out.
Peace.